especially like after COVID, like it's hard to, and as adults, like as I feel like outside of college and like stuff like that, it's hard to find connections with people.
Exactly.
Like
Hmm.
friends, I feel like it's harder.
It
So
is. It is. It is. And your circle becomes very, very. Your circle becomes a period. Yeah. Seriously, it really does.
I have
Uh,
zero friends, just to let you guys know.
you know what?
I have zero friends, just to let you guys know.
mm,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
like outside of all this, you know what I'm saying? Like all the
Yeah.
people that I used to hang out with, I don't hang out with them no more because they're not
Mm,
into fitness. They're not into like going to 5-star
mm.
restaurants. They're not.
Oh, right. She cutting people off for restaurants tonight.
because if we go on a trip and nobody wants to go to her fancy restaurant, she's having a fit.
What?
Like that pisses me off. And it's not even that. Like,
Like, I'm not bringing you broke people on a trip anymore.
it's not even about that. It's like I don't have no friends that want to go to the gym with me. Like,
Mm,
no, like it's so sad.
Wait, let me say something. So I struggled with this low key because like I feel like me and well I have like grown apart from some friends, but some of my
mm,
friends I still have now,
yeah.
like I struggled with feeling like, okay, are they actually like good friends to keep around? Because like you said, like I was like, they don't go to the gym. They whatever, like they want to go out to the club. I want to
Mm,
stay at home and watch a movie. Like
yeah.
and actually, so I'm in therapy, and a while ago I talked to my
Good.
therapist about this, and she was like, um, you don't have to have everything in common with your friends. Like they just need to like some friends serve different purposes. Like one friend might be to go to like when you're feeling like you need support. One
Yeah.
friend might be like someone that you would go to the gym together. Like it doesn't have to be like one friend has it all because that's kind of
Thanks.
unrealistic. So I feel like after that, I kind of like was able to look at my friends and be like, okay, they don't have to have this checklist of things
Hmm.
in order to like stay my friend, as long as they're still like somehow being a positive part of my life
Yeah.
and like supporting. I feel like supporting is like the main thing. But
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
because they like anime and I like the gym, like doesn't mean we can't be friends. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, we
Exactly.
still friends, but it's just like I don't know, like the way their lifestyle is going, I don't like it.
Mm,
I just
Well,
want
yeah, I
her
feel like if it's like a whole lifestyle and like that,
like
then
their goals are going straight and then they're going left, right. They're like all over the place. And it's like you're not, going towards your goals. You're going somewhere
mm,
you want to be a part of that. Like I'll still be
thanks.
alive, but I just won't, you know, we're not gonna be as connected.
Mm, facts. That's facts.
especially in your 20s, like it's hard because everybody's at different stages. Like some people have a house, some people are married with kids, some people are
Mm,
still in college, some
hmm.
people are like, I don't know, it's just like a weird time, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because like all of our lives up until now, like our friends have been in the same period of life. Like
Hmm.
school, high school, college, like we're all doing the same thing. Like it's
Facts.
connected.
Mm,
But now it's like we're all off like doing our
yeah.
own,
Own thing. Hmm.
like that's bound to happen.
Yeah. I love that. I love the fact that you're in therapy. You did say that, and I have to kind of go back to that right quick. What made you decide to go to therapy, or to try a therapist? What made you yeah.
Well, okay, so this isn't the first time I've tried to go to therapy, but this is the first time
Mm,
I've like, stuck with it. So like in
mm,
they had they had like a counseling center that you could go to for
yeah.
like um I don't know, like you could do like maybe 8 or 10 sessions
Yeah.
for like then they would refer you out to like outside of the campus.
Hmm.
So I went one time and
Nice.
okay, so the reason that made me go then is like anxiety because I feel like as early as I can remember,
Hmm.
I've had like I would like social anxiety.
Mm.
Since like
Really?
yeah.
I can't sense that at all. What the?
Well, that's good, and that's something that I've learned in therapy actually is I'll
Wow.
talk about in a second. But so okay, so I started because social anxiety, like I feel like
Yeah.
ever since like, seventh grade, I've been and I feel like it got worse like in college because then and especially COVID. COVID really did it and
Hmm.
I was like, now I have a reason to avoid people.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, And then I had another therapist that I saw for a while, but we kind of just didn't like, well, I don't know how she felt obviously, but on my end I feel like it wasn't a good fit. Like I just didn't feel like I clicked with her. I didn't completely feel comfortable with her.
Yeah.
So I kind of just stopped going to her, and and
Yeah.
then my cousin um gave me a suggestion for a new therapist that she sees. And I started seeing her, and it's been almost a year now that I've been with her. And so I feel like the main reasons were anxiety, which is still a struggle, but
Mm-hmm.
that childhood trauma,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and probably also not so much anymore, but like in the beginning, kind of just like the transitioning from college to like career life, and like I feel like in the beginning I had like a lot of imposter syndrome of like, can I actually do this? Like how did I even get this job? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what got me into it. And I feel like if I need to, like I said earlier, like I feel like I have to be good before I can help other
How about
people.
the people? Yeah.
So yeah, and I tell, this is kind of sidetracked, but I tell my kids all the time like that they're so lucky that they're starting this stuff early, because all the stuff that they're learning, like I never learned growing up. So it's like I'm learning this now in my 20s.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so but back to what did I say that I was gonna expand on?
Your social anxiety. Yeah.
Uh,
So I think it was a matter of like, yeah, you don't seem like it now. You said that's what you learn in
oh,
therapy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like a big reason of why or like part of it, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It like of having the social anxiety for me is like I feel like people are gonna be like judging me, or
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, oh, she's awkward, or oh, why did she say that, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so one thing that my therapist taught me is like just realizing like if I'm that worried about me, then everybody else is more worried about themselves than they are about me. And kind of also just like faking it until you make it, of like
Mm.
acting like I'm comfortable until
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I feel like the second that I feel that somebody else thinks I look awkward or uncomfortable or whatever, then I become more anxious.
Yeah.
And then I usually am like way quieter and won't talk. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
then it's just kind of like a cycle. And then, yeah.
That's
But
good. Mm-hmm. This is good. This is good. There's so many TikToks like that talk about what you're talking about right now. Like I want to pull up so many of them right now. Like I've seen so many TikToks that talk about it, and then I'll read the comments, and people are like, "Why are you worrying about this? Or why are you doing?" Like they act like it's not that big of a deal, but you're saying it. This is exactly what goes on in your head when you are around some of your groups. It's like, man, maybe they'll be like, "Oh, why did I say this? Why did I say?" You could probably even be fighting it right now. I'm not sure, but you know, she said,
yeah.
"Yeah." But nah, you definitely don't have to with us. But I'm just saying, like, it's good that you're being transparent about it, because I feel like in a sense it gives or sheds light on the fact that it's real.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing. I know a female that, again, we've grown pretty close, and she struggles with mental health. And there's moments and waves that she have where, I could be like messaging her or something like that, and all of a sudden she just goes, I'm sad. All of a sudden, can I call? Can I call? I need someone to talk to. I can't. And that just happens in waves.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it if I'm not struggling with it, but I definitely try to sympathize, with that. And I realize this is real. She's not putting on the front because no one else is around us for her to put on the front. She's actually going through this. And
Yeah.
people don't see that. They don't see what Mallory's going behind, what you're dealing with or battling with behind closed doors. They don't see that.
And I feel like for like the longest time, I would be almost like ashamed or like embarrassed to even admit that I have anxiety. Um, I don't know, because it felt like then I have like a weakness, or like then I'm seen differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna obviously talk about it to everybody, but like if I feel like comfortable and it's like the right like environment,
Yeah.
like they're gonna listen or understand, then I feel like it's worth, because I feel like then just letting it out, then it's like, okay, you can know the truth and I don't have to worry about it. So
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Exactly. It's like, hey, what's going on, Ellen? I
Nice to
told y'all
meet
she was
you.
joining. Hey, how you doing?
Great. I just got off work not too long ago.
Absolutely. No problem at all. You actually on time. And actually, Mallory and Marion, this is Ellen. We actually met on TikTok Live. I think I told them earlier.
Yes. Nice to meet you both.
Hmm.
Right.
Hey, I'm loving this, man. We got more people. Look at this. Y'all, beautiful faces in here.
As
Beautiful
soon
faces.
as soon as you brought it up, I was like, yes, we need to do this.
I
So,
love it.
so what are you guys talking about? What's the topic?
Do y'all wanna tell it?
Mental something about mental health and
Mhm.
society, the society, yeah. And then Mal was just talking about how she's seeing the therapist now and all that. Ain't that right, Mal?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot what you say.
Nah,
Good, good.
About a
I am
therapist.
too, actually.
I'm
You
sorry.
said what?
I'm also seeing a therapist.
Ooh, I
Oh,
love
I
it.
thought you said you was a therapist. I was gonna say,
Oh
girl,
no,
you can have free session.
no,
Hook me up.
no,
I
no.
love it.
I'm the one that needs therapy. No, I can't give it
Ah,
to anybody.
man, this is so beautiful. The fact that we got two people in here who are already seeing therapists. And again, to summarize it in terms of what they both stated, the topic is pretty much around depression and anxiety, pretty much what Marion said, and the aspect of whether or not it's actually something that's real. You know, a lot of times people are like, oh, that's just attention seeking. People are just seeking attention. So we're just diving into that a little bit in terms of, you know, pretty much like trying to determine or in a sense trying to explain or assess that it's actually not a thing that people are actually just dealing with, but this is something that's actually real. Someone's probably actually really going through this, or are they faking it? So it's just kind of balancing those questions out to kind of pretty much see, or in some sense, poke at, is this actually a thing when a person says, "Oh, I'm sad," or "Oh, I'm feeling suicidal," or is it just attention seeking? And we were kind of going into that a little bit actually with Mallory's topic in terms of what she was discussing about social anxiety. I'm not sure if you wanted to maybe dial back a little bit and summarize what you were saying, Mallory, or I could do it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I can. So I was
Mhm.
just saying like how I forgot what the original question was, honestly, but how I feel like it was why I originally started seeing a therapist, I think.
Yep,
I feel like
exactly.
it's like seventh grade, I've been like I've dealt with social anxiety and I just kind of put it off and eventually I just started to see my therapist after going through a couple that it didn't really work out, like wasn't a good fit.
Mhm.
But yeah, and what else? I don't
And
know.
your social anxiety. So you started talking about that because she definitely doesn't look like she has social anxiety to me. So I was wondering, how did she get over that?
That's the thing. We can
Yeah.
mask it. I have social anxiety as well, and that mask is
Uh,
we have that on lock. It is you'll never be able to tell.
Wow.
And I think that's so, yeah, I think that's crazy because I feel like it's kind of comforting in a way to know that other
Mm,
people who you wouldn't think had it also have that. So it's
there
like,
you
okay,
go.
it's not just me, and and they're not, and I feel like that proves my point earlier that I was saying is
Mm-hmm.
they're not worried about me, they're worried about themselves. So
Exactly.
it's kind of like comforting to know like they care about how they're acting and what they're saying more than what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
because no, go ahead. Mhm.
my question is for y'all two, how would you or what advice would you give to somebody that wants to take a therapy session but
Mm,
scared to? Because I know I want to, but honestly, I'm scared, just to be honest,
But you
because
want advice for yourself.
I'm scared. Like, I don't like talking about my feelings.
yeah.
I don't like getting
Hmm.
deep.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm the first person to like I was very like with people that know me, they like I was telling him before, people don't know what I've gone through because I don't
Yeah.
share
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah.
I shared it with him because it's like he's somebody I don't know. So for some reason I felt more comfortable. And for me, I feel more comfortable talking to a therapist than to anyone else
Mm,
because of the fact that they don't know me, because I have that security that they won't share my information with
yeah.
anyone. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have like, a confidant, someone that I can share anything
Mm,
to. It's way more comfortable than talking to someone. I mean, if I had a best friend, that would be preferred, but I
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
So like a
hmm
therapist is like the next thing for me, the next
yeah,
best option for me, where I feel like I can truly share everything without being judged and
mm,
and I'm heard. That's the point. I need to be heard because then I'm like I have all these emotions and they're not coming out.
mm.
It just it ends up accumulating to like depression and anxiety,
Yep.
unfortunately.
hmm Mm.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend it. I feel a lot more comfortable talking to a therapist than to if like a coworker or
Yeah.
anything like
Oh
that.
yeah. Definitely not a coworker.
Yeah, yeah.
They'd be telling everybody, your CEO will know what's going on. Did you hear about
Yeah.
Ellen? Did you hear about Ellen? Yeah, yeah. It's like you supposed to be running the company. How you know about this?
And then the
But yeah.
company will have their own little, I forgot the name for it, their own little therapist or shrink
hmm
or whatever. And it's
hmm
like, no,
Yeah,
because
I don't know about that. Yeah,
right, like
I agree.
no, because if I tell that person like,
True.
hey,
That's
yeah, it's coming
That
back to
might be
me.
used later on. Yeah.
they'll
So,
use that later, right?
so
Although technically they're not supposed to, that's their part of their
Protocol is supposed to,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But that's happened. I've had somebody actually recently tell me that they they confided in it because it was pretty much like a whole school scandal thing where you had some guy spying on people inappropriately and all this type of stuff. So then they had therapists for those people. She goes in there to tell the therapist and then said that the therapist pretty much told everybody in HR. So it's
that's a
crazy.
lawsuit right there. I mean, unless it says it in the contract or whatever, but that's a
Yeah,
lawsuit.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's supposed to be
Exactly.
confidential. That's the point.
Exactly.
If I didn't feel like if it was confidential, then I definitely would not be sharing as much as I do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I love it.
I like what you said about like how it's because I feel like sometimes it is more comfortable to talk to somebody that like to just spill your feelings to somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
They they aren't biased. They're not gonna like, especially if they're not gonna judge you. They
Yeah.
literally they have all the tools and like to actually help you instead of like
Mhm.
even if you have a best friend who you can vent to, it's like they might be like, girl, go slash his tires. You know,
Mhm.
your therapist is gonna be like, okay, how are we actually gonna like
Exactly.
figure
How is
this
that
Look
gonna
at his
help?
best
Yeah.
friend.
They're gonna talk some sense into you
Yeah.
for sure.
and like they're like but I feel like you also have to be ready to like be called out almost because
Yeah.
like the therapist is well hopefully like if they're a good therapist they're gonna like see through any bullshit that you like
Yeah.
and like in a good way like for the best
Yeah.
like interests and stuff but I don't know Marian I feel like especially for so say like obviously I know you so I don't want to say too much to like whatever
Oh,
but
you can
you're like
say whatever you want.
okay, well, I feel like your parents, you had no emotional, like, you had no safe space to express
Mm.
emotions in your house, and you still don't.
Mm.
So, like, you can't even, so there's this thing, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically like where you do this like activity and um you put like for each emotion you put if your parents were like accepting of that emotion.
Mm.
So some of the emotions on it are like anger, achievement, like the main ones. And then there's also like excitement and stuff. And when I first saw that, I was like, excitement, like why would parents
They're
not be
excited when I give them money. That's about it.
no, but
I'm
listen, because when you're a kid, so at first I was like, okay, excitement, like why would they shut that down? But then almost every parent shuts down kids being excited because they show excitement by being like too crazy or too loud or like jumping
Mm.
around. So it's like even when parents are like that's bound to happen at some point, but I feel like
Yeah.
marriage, especially for you, like your parents don't like cater to any emotion
Wow.
or even
Wow.
like hear you out. So I feel like then as an adult, you never learned how to express those emotions.
Oh, Ellen. She
Yeah,
hitting on it. She
I
hitting on
can
it.
relate 100%.
Because now like
100%.
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry. How old are
um
you?
it's okay. So like when you're a child and you never have that safe space to express your emotions, like whether with words or like your body language or whatever, then you never learned how to do that in a healthy way or at all. So then when you're an adult, you don't feel comfortable sharing it to anybody, even if they are a safe space now. It's like, well, your whole childhood you had to learn to like shove those emotions down.
Yeah.
Now that's uncomfortable because it's something new you have to do. And I feel like even for me, like even so earlier how Mary and I said like I feel like we connect by roasting each other.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I've been thinking about that, not just about you, but like a lot of my friends, like I like connect with them through that, but like it's hard for me to be like affectionate to my friends and like to tell them like I appreciate them or I love them, and like that feels uncomfortable to me.
Like hugging used to be weird for me.
Still is for me. Like
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I first got hugged, I was like, what the hell is going on? I've never been hugged in my life. What?
Man, hey, I feel like giving you a hug right now,
It
man.
was weird.
Yeah. I
My
mean,
mom had no like it was like I was saying before. Well, I didn't tell you guys the story, but I was just saying my mom raised us like soldiers. She came home, gave orders. There was no like she didn't pay attention to no communication. It was just orders. She didn't ask us how we were doing. We never gave any feedback of like any kind of emotion. So I feel I relate 100%. Because that passed on into my adulthood as well, and now I have problems communicating, especially when it comes to like being with an intimate partner on how I feel with them. And I don't know how to show it because no one ever showed me. So it's like, how am I going to show you something that I never learned? I'm
right.
still learning.
Yeah. And I feel like it's so much harder to learn as an adult than if we were all to just
That's how I was when I was in high school. I used to get bullied a lot, and it was like really bad. And then I would come home, and then I'm sad, and it's like I get yelled at or my booty beat for no reason sometimes. And it's like, I got so used to that to the point where it's like I don't want to talk to anybody. Like boyfriend, when I'm upset, I don't want to talk to him. And my boyfriend, he's from a family where they say I love you
Yeah.
at the end of every
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
with me, I'm not like that. It's like it's just it really do affect you. Whatever happened to you as a child, you take it in when you're an adult.
Yeah. I feel like even if it's not like to the extreme, like because for me, like my parents still say I love you and they get hugs from them, but there's still other things that like we're missing that
Yeah.
led to where I am now.
Yeah.
And, so like when you guys had said like intimate partners and like your boyfriend and stuff, for me, I feel like so another thing that I had learned in therapy is that okay, my parents they have and like through my whole childhood they would like fight, like yelling, threatening divorce, all that stuff. Like all my childhood,
Yeah.
like never, and they honestly still never solve a problem. It's always like, and then other problems that weren't solved come in, and then it's just like a whole mess. And so now, like with my boyfriend, he does like Marion, he does not get angry really. Like he might get angry, but he doesn't like show it. Like he's not aggressive. He doesn't yell. Like he's never yelled at me. And but my whole childhood, that's what I was used to. And like I told my therapist once, I was like, sometimes I feel like I want
you want him to, yeah.
I just like I don't want to. Like the logical side of me is like, no, I don't like fighting. But the other side of me is like, I feel like I want to start a fight right now for no reason.
No
and, like,
reason.
I want to yell. But it's like she told me it's because like as like I was growing up, like you learn what love is or what it should be, like through your parents and what you see. And so like for me, I like subconsciously learned that love and passion, like you show love and passion by like yelling. Cause like when you're arguing, you're passionate about it. And so then for me, like when me and Nor would have like a disagreement or something, and he's like calm as fuck, I'm like, you don't care, you know? You don't care. Like Why are
That is
you
me too. That's me. Like I get upset when I'm not getting the reaction that I'm used to.
Yeah.
shit?
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like, really, I should be grateful that he's not
Mm.
like he's still angry, but he's not
Yeah.
reacting off of it. But it's like the like what I learned in like my childhood is like he
Mhm.
doesn't care because he's not yelling. If he cared, he would be passionate and he'd be yelling about it. But yeah, so I feel like, and it's so hard to like unlearn those
I
things. Like
learned
unlearn,
those things. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. So I feel like that's like the one of the biggest parts of therapy is like realizing how what you do now obviously isn't working, how that's connected to things you learned, and then figuring out how to unlearn that.
Yeah, retraining your mind. They're teaching me that right now too.
Mm.
Mostly with like negative thoughts that I have. I'm very negative. It's always like right now I'm going to school and it's like for some reason I have this thought like you can't do it. It's always you can't do it. And
Yeah.
I think it's because I was always in a negative environment.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to be positive. And it's not, and I'm not like that with other people. I'm very encouraging. I'm very positive, but I can't do that for myself.
Yeah.
I can never do that for myself for some reason.
Yeah. I feel
It's
like
good.
it's so much harder. Like you would never say that stuff to people around you, but like
Exactly.
Mm.
And I have heard like a trick. I mean, I saw it on TikTok, I believe, and it said, "Would you ever tell that? Like, look at a picture of yourself when you were
Mm.
younger, and see if you would say that same hurtful
Mm.
phrase to that person." And I mean, I've done it before, and yeah, I would never say that to my younger self. Like, I just can't believe sometimes the stuff that I tell myself and why, but I don't understand why my brain is wired that way.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of also like a thing like relating to that is you can picture yourself now like
Mm.
as like that like what did your younger self need to hear?
Need to hear. Yeah, I
I
did that.
love you. I'm here for you. You want me to go on? I
Mm.
care about you.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
I got a whole
give it to us, give it to us,
list.
give it to us. I love that, man. This is dope. This is I'm just standing back letting y'all pour. Like I love it. I love
And
this.
then,
This is
Trey, have you noticed that we're like talking about parents, and then
yeah.
our last call we were talking about how parent can actually be the cause of
Yeah.
her stress.
Mm-hmm.
So like parents are really the cause of their kids' mental stress,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
you said. And then I'm trying to change that for my daughter.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
Good. Thank God. You got to break that generational.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
feel like it makes it for me because I feel like almost every like whether it's extreme or not, I feel like everybody has like stuff to unlearn from their childhood.
Yep.
Like it makes me scared to be a parent because then it's like, what am I gonna accidentally teach my kids? You know? But I feel
there are
like,
some things,
huh?
there are some things that my parents taught me that I will like not change. That I will use.
Mm.
90% is like, no, I'm not using that. I'm not. That gotta go. Like, for example, my parents, they're all about the boys, like raising
Oh,
the
Raise
yep.
them well.
boys better than
Mm.
girls. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. I'm gonna
Mm.
treat them the same because they're my child. There were some times where I felt like my parents didn't love me or they told me my brothers used to tell me that I was adopted, and I used to believe them because the way my parents would treat me.
Oh man, that's messed
Yeah,
up.
like, and then the thing was, it was because the way my parents were treating them because they were
Mel.
a male or whatever,
Mm.
and it
Mm.
was just yeah. So
Mm.
Speaking of adoption, I used to beg my mom to tell me that I was adopted because I just could not believe that someone like biologically would treat me that way. Like I was just like, please tell me I'm adopted, that I have a family out there that
Wow.
cares about me because right, like I never felt like I had that.
Yeah.
How young were you when you would say that?
Well, I was young. I was like probably like 8, 10, telling her that, begging
Mm-hmm.
that I was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I was
sad.
praying that I was adopted.
Yeah.
there was this one time where I was in college, my freshman year in college.
Mm-hmm.
I had like saved up some money, and I bought a car, and my parents, they were mad, like they were super mad, and they took the keys from me.
Hey.
And that night, me and my mom got into it, and one of the things that I said to her was like, "Yeah, you don't love me. I'm not your daughter. That's why you treating your boys better than me. Look at your boys." Because my parents, what they did was they taught my siblings how to drive, and they never taught me how to drive.